You want? Yeah,
There we go. That's better. Yeah, there we go. Hello. Hello and welcome everybody to what is the Russian Kickback Grand Prix for Bernie Eccleston. And oh my goodness, that looked like it tasted something. What are you drinking there, Fabio?
It's beer.
It is beer. Okay,
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah.
it's
Cheers, me beers.
a local IPA beer. Yeah,
Local IPA.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah. It's something
yeah.
that I've been doing since Sunday because, thank God. I mean, the only good thing about Sochi is that now it's over. So
Now it's finished. Okay,
yeah,
yeah. Well, the race was a little bit like that, I have to say, and it just generally is. This is a Noah's Ark of a race. They go 2 by 2. But thanks to the stewards, it was a little different this year. So we're going to explain that shortly. Just to say out there as well, I got a message from Max. Max, who says, "Thank you, Fabio, for introducing him to a particular cigar." Could you remember what type of cigar?
Oh, maybe it was a Toscano.
It was a Toscano, correct.
Yeah.
And I like the way you pronounce it differently to Max. And of course we're going to go with your pronunciation because you
Because
are
it's the correct one.
well, you're Italian. You're the expert, I should say, in Italian. So
There you go.
there you go. There you go. Okay, he's gone. He's gone back. Oh, he's gone to get one.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Look at the size of the box on that. I hope that is not just the whole cigar. I hope that includes the metal container as well.
No, that's one cigar. That's
one cigar. Oh my god! Look at the size of it. Okay.
Yeah. Carry
okay.
on.
Well, this is for Max then.
Yeah.
Thank you, Max. And if you decide to watch this at some point, cheers.
Cheers.
It was really nice to talk to you the other day. So thank you. And if you do tune in, welcome. Okay, so a Formula One race happened. It happened in the winter wonderland of Sochi, where it was in fact it was very sunny, which was nice. And Lewis Hamilton pole position, fantastic lap record under what was very difficult circumstances. We won't go into it too much, but he almost missed getting into Q3. By 1.2 seconds, and he nonetheless managed to get off the line in pole position. He went first into the first corner, almost got overtaken by the Butler, but the Butler didn't manage to get round the outside. Yeah. Now that was fine, but there was a lot of carnage, absolute carnage at the back of the pack, where Carlos Sainz decided to not bother using the road and the track and decided to go off, but upon rejoining he accidentally decided to clip a concrete wall at probably 80 miles an hour and destroy his left front tyre and suspension. This then led to further problems down the field because of course people bunched up. Lando Norris ran over a lot of debris and messed his car up, so basically that was the whole of the McLaren team out of the race. And then also there was a few other little issues with people trying to get past. Lance Stroll was unfortunately and very unfairly taken out of the race through no fault of his own by a red driver of some sort. I can't remember the name of the team or the young red driver that it was, but I'm assuming it wasn't Sebastian Vettel. And that was just unfortunate, though. Perhaps Leclerc pushing too much. Perhaps Stroll not giving him enough room. It's difficult to tell these things. Anyway, that was Stroll out, and it led to what was a fantastic race for Leclerc, who ended up finishing 6th or something like that. And he drove very well. He was given a lot of help, I have to say. By people dropping out, number one, his teammates staying out way too long on his medium tyres and holding up the rest of the pack in order for Leclerc to get out in front. Great tactics by the Ferrari team. We've seen that done on many occasions by many other teams, and Ferrari did it superbly. And I think Vettel, whether it's through choice or not, he played his part in that. Anyway, then there was some interesting stuff. The Renault team got off to a great start, as usual. Their car does seem to be very good at the beginning of a race, although it faded throughout the race as Perez decided to keep having a go at them and managed to overtake both of them. Then we got the sad, dreadfully sad and melancholy news that, in fact, Lewis Hamilton had been given two penalties, not one, two penalties. I'm not saying they're picking on him, all right, but he was given two penalties for what was considered to be out of position practice starts before the race. Now, I think this is a little overdone. I have seen other people start from down that end of the pit lane before. I've seen it. Going back a few years, I've seen it myself. Lewis Hamilton himself has done that and not been given penalties. Now, whether that was at the discretion, it was supposedly a track decision done by the stewards at the track at their discretion. So maybe he got away with it in the past. I've seen other people do it as well. Certainly Sebastian Vettel has done that as well at Sochi. However, it looked to me, it looked to me like it was going to be a penalty all the way because clearly he's winning the championship. No, because clearly he was a long way down the pit lane when he decided to make his start. And these drivers, they don't see other cars, it seems. They just they have this little block in their heads, but they don't see other cars on the track. Go ahead.
It's called a corner with walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Corner with walls. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though this is halfway down a straight, but nonetheless, we'll ignore all of that, and we will say it made the race quite interesting because Hamilton then had to climb back through the pack and eventually finish in third place, which gave the young Verstappen, who did not vercrashen or have an accident, finish in second place, which was well deserved for the young chap, I have to say. And of course, Lewis has such a lead in the championship. I don't think it's going to make too much difference. Now, there wasn't much more to the race than that. There was a couple of really good back marker overtakes, etc., etc. There was a little section in the race where the three young pretenders, by which I mean Norris, Russell, and Albon, all were with each other. But yeah, it wasn't really that interesting because Russell's car couldn't keep up with the other two, and so he literally just made a big mistake going into a corner, locked his brakes up, and that was the end of that. And he was pushing his car far too hard. And then Norris's car was already damaged, so he couldn't keep up with Albon. So it wasn't actually as interesting as it could have been, as if they'd been on the track at the same time with equal machinery. That would have been great. But nonetheless, it gave us excitement for about 30 seconds while we watched that. And that was Sochi. So, oh yes, the Butler won. Yeah, it was the Butler that did it.
Yeah.
And he won from second place on the grid. So well done. He drove a perfect race, no mistakes. And, he drove pretty fast as well. I can't remember who got fastest lap, though.
I don't know. It was a Renault for some time, and
right.
Then, no, I don't know.
I'm not sure. I would imagine it's it's not going to be Verstappen. Lewis did for a couple of times, but that was midway through the race.
Gasly tried, but he was already out of the points, so they would not have considered that. But
Gasly, that's another one, interesting one. He drove like an animal, in inverted commas, so the quote went. And I would say some sort of badger, if I had to put an animal's name on it. Didn't think he was that fast myself. but he was certainly trying, and yeah, you could always say that about Gasly. He's a trier.
Yeah.
So that was basically the race. Just to reiterate the positions, it was Bottas first, Verstappen second, Hamilton third, Perez, Ricciardo, honourable sixth for Leclerc, Ocon, of course, who actually managed to finish a race not too far down, so that was great. Then Kvyat ahead of Gasly. Kvyat making the most of it, saying he had a fantastic race and he was well deserved to beat Gasly, which is fair enough because he did. Then Albon in 10th, disappointing. And then Giovanni. Was it Giovanni in 11th?
Giovinazzi.
Sorry, Giovinazzi. I don't know. He's some kind of German person.
Yeah.
Some sort of Nazi. Geo-Nazi. I don't know. That might be a slur because I don't know who he is really. All I know, I know. Look, I'm trying to make jokes as best I can.
That
right?
was very good. I just didn't expect that.
Got you though, didn't it? Unexpected. Yeah. Got you. Okay, then Magnussen, and then Vettel, then his teammates Raikkonen, Norris, Latino. What's his name again? Oh, Latifi. Is it Latifi? Is it really
Latifi? Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I was making another joke there, but that's his real name. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
And then Grosson.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the order. Thank you so much for listening. That was the race. That was Sochi. It was exciting as ever. Yeah. Basically, we had a lot of crashes, and that made the race. Yeah. Well done. Lewis goes away, still leading the championship, of course, probably by about. Let me think here. Let me work it out quickly in my head because I can't remember. Oh, no, let me remember. It was 205 to 161. So however many that is, 40.
I'm still counting.
44 points, which is his number. There we go. How can I forget that? That's why. That is why. That's why he got the. That's why he got the penalty points. Nothing to do with his starts. They just wanted to equal out the numbers.
Yeah.
So there you go. Number 44 leads by 44 points. So thank you very much, and over to Fabio for his race recap, stroke correction of everything I said, which was wrong.
No, I mean that was basically the race. I really have nothing to add about it. I was quite surprised by the Renault. The fact that and you put it very well, it seems to me that they're faster at the beginning rather than at the end, was really weird because they actually can qualify really good. So one would say that they can run really fast with low fuel, but apparently during the race it's the other way around. So I don't know, but it was a very good performance by Ricciardo and Ocon. Ricciardo got a penalty, but because he just there was some team orders and he went a little bit wide, passing Ocon. The difference between Ricciardo and Hamilton, when they give penalties, is that Lewis whinged and whined for about half an hour, and Ricciardo replied, "Oh, okay, then I guess I got to go faster." Which is, really, good.
He did. I actually thought that was a bit of a harsh penalty on Ricciardo because the way I saw it was two of his wheels were still inside the track. And I thought, well, fair enough, then he doesn't have to go off. But apparently, no.
Well, it was either that penalty or the fact that they gave team orders. So, I mean, they had to give it something at the point. I don't think it was that much of a problem. Anyway,
just to say on the team orders, I thought Ocon was a bad loser there, right? Because I mean, he literally made him go the long way around and lose time on that corner, right? And that's just ridiculous. That if you're going to let your teammate pass, do it so you don't lose.
Right.
So don't lose as much time, and he doesn't lose as much time. Don't
Right,
do
yeah.
it just to point out to everybody that you're all going to lose time. That's just being a child. And this is what I generally think about Ocon now. He's a bit of a child. He's not mature enough to be a team leader. So whoever they're getting next year, Renault. Oh, Alonso.
Alonso, yeah.
That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Alonso and a child again. Okay.
Yeah.
So
That's gonna be
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, well, Ocon's going to get beaten up like shit, obviously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Alonso's not going to even pay attention to him. So if he
Well,
thinks he's getting a cold shoulder from Ricardo,
mm.
hey, wait till he gets Alonso.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Wait to get the man, that the most lovable man in the paddock. So yeah, the penalty about Hamilton.
Two
I
penalties.
think, yeah. So I think that because even during the race, they said they gave him 2 penalties because he started twice, in the wrong position. I think, I'm not sure about that, but I think that they gave him 2 penalties for 2 different reasons. One was the not being in the correct position while making a start. And about that, let me say one thing. They before the race, the stewards, they issue, a paper, some recommendations and stuff like that. And I think the one in Sochi said, that the area designated, to try the start is immediately after the the lights at the exit of the box. Just at the beginning of the pit lane, immediately after the light. Now, I read some people say, "Oh, yeah, I mean, they should have been, written a little bit more carefully," as if, Lewis did that at the end of the pit lane, and by the same scenario, saying that, well, it should have been written a little more carefully. If you apply the same criteria, he might have tried, the start anywhere on the track because it was after the light, So. Well, the second thing is that 19 other drivers got the thing right and he didn't. So there is that. But the second penalty, I think that he got the second penalty because this has nothing to do with Sochi. It's a rule in the rule book,
right?
That says that once you get in the pit exit, you cannot slow down or stop. You got to maintain a constant speed or accelerate, which he didn't. And don't get me wrong, I understand why he tried to start there. Area, because he wanted to try to start in an area which was more likely to be similar to the one that was actually making the start. I get it. Still, I think it was a pretty dangerous place. There is a right corner and there are the walls, and you can't really if you stop at the end of it, it's really difficult to see, even because when you're getting in the pit exit, you don't usually look on the right, you look on the left, because this is where the cars are supposed to be. They're not supposed to be standing still in front of you. So
yeah, I agree. I agree with that, although obviously it's the formation. It's not the formation lap. It's the what do they call it? The parade lap or something. So people are just going to the grid. So there shouldn't be any cars going down there at any kind of speed, really.
Listen,
I agree with what you say, though. I mean,
it was just worth it, just to hear making a conspiracy theory and whinging and whining for about 20 minutes. That was totally worth it.
I get that for sure. And to be honest with you, after the race, he did calm down and sort of say, "Yeah, all right, fair enough." And again, I got to give him credit, right? Because he asked the team, right? He did, in fact, ask the team whether it was all right to go further down and do his start, because the position that they got had a lot of rubber on it, and that wasn't representative. So can I go further down? And they said, yes, of course, stay firm. You can go down as far as you like and do it. So that's what he did. And so, but he didn't say, oh, my team told me.
Yeah.
Right. He took responsibility himself and said, well, that's what happened. That's what I did. And fair enough. I got the points, but I think it's a bit like shitty because that seems to be a new rule. Like as I put in the thing, where's that in the rule book? Well, it's not in the rule book. It's in the directives. That's why it's not in there, Lewis. And as I said, I've seen other drivers do it, and I've seen Lewis do it before down there and make the start because it's not on a lap, which is a racing lap. There are only cars coming out of the pit. They can clearly see him and go around him. So it seems a little bit fascist to me. But that might be an overreaction. I don't know. I don't know. Could be. I'm not saying that Mika Salo is a fascist, but he does look like one.
Mika Salo is not there anymore.
I thought he was one of the.
No, I think they sacked him.
No. He was the he was the guest referee. What do they call them? Steward. He was the guest steward for the day.
Is he? Okay.
He was. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, so I don't know. I mean, actually, I think they.
It's difficult to tell because they were all wearing masks. Yeah. Right. Typical fascists. But there you go. Anyway, we'll get off that joke now.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think it's fair enough if they wrote that in the directives and they applied the rules. No one else, as you said, nobody else did it.
Yeah.
So just Lewis. And there you go. And that maybe that counts against him because he's got the experience there for so many years,
right?
Right. Whereas the new guys just go,
there was another driver which wasn't really happy with what the team told them to do. But that happened on Saturday, and it was Leclerc when they when they told him, he didn't have enough time. For the outlap just in Q3, and apparently they had kind of 6 seconds. So because they kept telling him, "Oh, we have no margin," keep pushing. We have no margin. Keep pushing it. He basically managed to start on the tail. I think it was a Toro Rosso car. So, well, then it turned out that he had 6 seconds, so it could have slow down and take a little bit more space between him and the car in front of him, and he didn't take that very he was quite pissed about it, to put
a little bit.
It was really pissed, and I think it was rightly pissed.
If we think about what would have happened, right, if he had have slowed down, Lewis wouldn't have made it through.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
more than likely, because that Leclerc has done this before, right? Remember Monza last year?
Well, no, he was. I think he was in front of a Renault, so Lewis was way back. It would not have been any problems about that, because I think.
Yeah, but if it would have been a cascading thing, is what I'm saying.
Maybe
if Leclerc had slowed down and left maybe 2 seconds, right? Like they would tell it if they'd said, "All right, you got 6 seconds," and right, well, I'll wait 4 seconds then. That would have cascaded back, and the last 3 cars would not have made it through. That would be my supposition anyway. And you can't know this for certain. But as again, Leclerc's got history doing this, like Gasly did, right? Like when they left the pits, right? Now Gasly just like went, right, I'll let this guy go off then.
Right.
And I literally did not move for about 3 or 4 seconds when there's a whole queue of cars behind him. All right. No wonder he's not going to be popular. I can tell you that. Gasly is not going to be popular.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, remember that at the time, I think that Verstappen had the second time. So it is not crazy to think that they told, to the sister team, slow everybody down, because worst case scenario, Verstappen is going to be second anyway.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I wouldn't quite go that far, because
I would.
In my mind, Kvyat went off like in good time. Kvyat was just ahead of Gasly. Right now, Gasly obviously went, all right, I don't want to be just behind Kvyat because it's the same pace car. So that's going to be real bad news. So I need to be at least 3-4 seconds behind him. So I don't think there was any like, I'm going to slow everybody down to stop Lewis getting into first place or second place, right? Which is roughly what happened, wasn't it? I believe. Lewis got pole, and Bottas was second, and Verstappen third. So, that's what I'm saying. If they'd really decided to play it smart, they could have got Lewis out in that session, right? They could have put Lewis out by knowing that he was right at the back. And in which case, I think we would have seen a longer wait, by
I think it was
by
just
the Toro Rossos.
I think it was just the last second decision when they saw that Lewis' position at the exit was so far. Maybe they called it at the very last second. I don't know.
They would have seen Lewis come out of the pits at the end, so they would have known when, before the light went green.
No, but that's what I'm saying. The last second call was where the car were already waiting for the light to get green. They didn't plan it. They just happened to have, okay, we got two cars in front. That guy, we thought it was getting on the grid way ahead, is on the bottom. There's a good chance he's never gonna make it. Slow down.
Yeah. You can't say that on the radio though, and be
no, you can't. So, I mean, you could say, I don't know, map 7 or
yeah. Well, this is what I mean.
2. Yeah.
I mean, this is what I mean. The Alpha Bollocks team, right? They because they were at the front. I don't think they really could have done a lot about it without pissing everybody else off.
Yeah.
I don't think Gasly was deliberately doing that. He was doing it for his own advantage. So he wasn't too close to Kvyat. However, Leclerc. Now Leclerc, if Ferrari had been on the ball, right, they could have gone, oh yeah, Lewis isn't going to make it if we slow down now, right, and we just make it across the line.
I think,
So I mean, they could have been on the ball a little more, I think, and they could have said, "You've got about 8 seconds." Do you know what I mean?
No, I understand what you mean. I think in Ferrari they got bigger fish to fry. I mean, I don't think that they were even thinking about getting. I mean, they were already in 6th position, 7th position. They were aiming to get 1 or 2 positions. Yeah, 1 or 2 positions. And that was all they could hope for.
Yeah,
I don't think they were making some grand scheme to get the pole position because it was.
Oh no, not pole, but they would have got 1 extra position for sure.
Yeah. I mean, but Lewis would have been anyway ahead of them, so that wasn't their target. I agree. They're not in the championship, so why would they bother, kind of thing, trying to disrupt it? You know what I mean? Especially at this late stage. So yeah, no, I think you're probably right, especially if the rumors are correct that they're going to replace Carlos Sainz with Lewis Hamilton in the year 2050 or something. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. Okay, so that's obviously not true, but nonetheless, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, but the market is going to be interesting because apparently the guys at us, rumors have that they already have the plane ticket to go the fuck home, and maybe Schumacher on us and Hülkenberg, I think.
Nice.
Which I think would be a very good. I mean, the car is still shite, but at least it would have 2 very interesting drivers.
Yeah. And Schumacher, of course, won. I believe he won one of the races this weekend. I'm not thrilled by Schumacher, younger. I've got to say.
I'm with you up to a certain point because I wasn't that impressed by the guy at the beginning of the season. I watched some of the races that he rode on, and it wasn't that impressive to me. I've been really, really surprised while the season progressed up until now because it has showed a level of consistency and a level of focus that I didn't think he had at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it's a weird F2. It's a very weird championship where there are a lot of young guns that they try everything they can while driving, which rightly so. They're all young drivers who want to show up how fast they are. But I think that what Schumacher is showing right now is that he's also really focused and he can think ahead on the championship. A little bit like what Leclerc did. In his, I don't think he's on the same level, class wise as Charles, but the focus, the commitment,
not even close.
Yeah, but the focus, the commitment, I think it might become so. I see more like if we try to compare, current drivers, I see more as a Carlos Sainz type of driver rather than Lando Norris kind of driver. If you get what I mean,
I do. So, I do.
I mean, it's the kind of person that you will love in a team because it's going to bring results.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things about his dad, of course, was his extreme fitness and his ability just to keep going, and his recovery ability. Right here, Schumacher, the Senna, would recover halfway through the race and have his second wind, and he was just as fast then as he was at the beginning. Now, that's maybe because of him, presumably, most of the drivers are fit enough to go through the whole race. But of course, sometimes they're not. There are some races where they really do struggle. And Schumacher's was his low standing heartbeat rate, whatever that was.
Yeah,
I think they used to say on a couch his heartbeat was so slow he was nearly dead. Let alone on the line, I think his heartbeat off the line was like 120. Everybody else's was like 180. So he's got that advantage of being able to pump a lot of oxygen, and that means obviously good recovery. And if he's like his uncle, then of course that bodes well when he gets to the bigger cars like Formula One cars, because of course he's going to be able to handle them quite easily. Whereas some of the guys, if you notice, Norris and who else?
Russell.
One of the drivers. Not so much Russell, I felt, but because he seems to have leverage. But there was one of the drivers, and I thought, God, he's so skinny. He's never going to make it. And yet he's bulked up. He bulked up real well. Anyway, I can't remember who it is now, but one of the drivers.
Talking about. Sorry, while you try to remember the name, talking about Russell, I've got to tell you, I am being a fan of this guy. More and more every race I see him, I like him more and more. I think that guy is really something, and it's a damn bloody shame that he hasn't got a car to deliver right now. I think is a so I don't know if he's as fast as Leclerc, but I think he's on the same level as Norris and Albon or Gasly or a lot of people which are way ahead of him in the grid. He's really fast. He's really committed. He's driving, unfortunately, a truck of a car. I mean, in a way, it reminds me a lot of Leclerc. He's driving a bloody, tractor, but he's delivering results which are way ahead of the car. Russell has got a really worse situation with the car he's in, but every time they show him, he's trying every fucking time. And his his teammates they try to do the same. They can't do that, and they more often than not they just crash the car trying to do what he does. So I'm really, really super impressed by him.
Yeah, and I think the stat is really incredible, which is he's out qualified his teammate 31-0.
Yeah.
Right. So that's every time he's got in the car, basically, he's out-qualified a teammate, whoever the teammate is. Not that he's had good teammates, so let's
He
not get
should.
carried away. However, I would say one thing as well, which is Ocon, right? I'm not a fan, but Ocon had the same deal. When he first came in, every single race, he was faster than he should be. And not only that, he finished races and he drove really maturely in the races. He didn't crash his cars.
Yeah.
He was great. He was fast. He didn't crash. Same as Russell. Fast, doesn't crash. I just hope the same thing doesn't happen to Russell that happened to Ocon, which was he was passed over because of
Well,
older drivers.
that's a very good point that you're raising, because there are some drivers that are really good with low tier cars, but once they get in a really high performance car, they change, and maybe they reach the limit, so they're very good with low tier car, but they can't cope with the increased performances of some other cars. So yeah, I mean, it's always problematic to guess and to figure it out. Like, for example, I mean, Hulkenberg is a very good example to me. I mean, Hulkenberg is a bloody good driver. They just called in. He went to Force India, for one race. He made a hell of a race. But during the season, while he was in Renault, he wasn't that much of a very good driver. Yeah, I mean, he was there, but not impressive every time. So I think
there's a lot of drivers like this. To be fair, here.
I understand that it's probably easier to make a one shot. I'm gonna try, everything I can just for one race, rather, than say, okay, I got a championship in front of me. I gotta try to make points where I can, So I get that, there is a big difference, but it's weird anyway.
You're absolutely right. I mean, we could go down the list. Perez, right? It was great in that Sauber, right? This is going back quite a few years. Great in the Sauber.
Yeah.
Stepped up. Couldn't really do anything, had to step back down again. Gasly stepped up to Red Bull, had to step back down again. Going back years, same thing with Fisichella. He was really good when he first started. Got into a decent car, which was, I think, the Benetton. And just did nothing. He went backwards almost. Truly. Likewise, really highly thought of. Go ahead.
Well, Trulli, you're right. I still maintain that Trulli was one of the best F1 driver that we've seen in a long time. I mean,
I couldn't agree. I can't agree with you, because Glock.
No, I understand.
Timo Glock just simply annihilated him. But
listen, I'm not expecting to, and I understand, and you're fully. I mean, I understand your point. I'm not even going there. It's just my personal gut feeling, the way he drove, and the car he drove, when he drove the cars and stuff like that. So,
sure.
But yeah, I see what you mean. By the way, you said something before you agree. I said something really stupid. It's probably going to be Perez, not Hulkenberg, on the Haas next year.
Okay, yeah, in the Haas. Okay,
yeah.
Perez. Oh yeah, no, that would make sense. Yeah. I mean, Perez is he's a damn good driver. He's made some great races.
I don't like him, but fuck him, it's good. I mean, I can't deny that.
Yeah, I mean, again, he was the first sort of real paid driver that was. That really, I thought, oh come on, we don't want paid drivers in Formula One, and yet he stuck around, and now I've become a fan because they allow the lower teams to survive. So good on him in that way. And he bought, I don't know, 30 million or something. He was the first real big paid driver.
He saved Force India,
and he allegedly saved Force India. I mean, they would have been bought by Lynx. No, Rich.
Rich anyway. Energy. Yeah, because they had the money, right? Yeah, they had real money. So, I keep forgetting that.
Exactly.
Of what was that? rupees that he think was going to get. I mean, what the fuck?
Oh dear. I mean, the same
Oh.
thing happened when Force India came in, though. You know what I mean? I mean, he was a dodgy geezer as well. So you know what I mean. But he had the backing at least. We knew that his money was real.
Yeah.
So there was that at least anyway. Although it didn't last very long. But the team did real well. So he didn't have to keep pumping money in. So that was okay. Okay. So just to round up then, I guess.
Yeah.
It was an interesting race.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Fucking
I
boring.
can't get away with anything, can I?
No, you can't. I mean, that was. Listen, it wasn't. I mean, listen, we were coming from races. What was the last race? Was it Mugello?
Tuscany.
Yeah.
Tuscany. Yeah.
So we had Mugello before, and then before that, what did we have?
The one before Mugello was, I'll tell you right now, Italy, Belgium.
Yeah, okay, so you see what I'm going, right? I mean, we had Spa, then we had Mugello, then we have Sochi, which is...
Yeah.
It's like, it's a spaceship, it's a spaceship. No, it's going down, yeah.
Well, it's not going to get much better for a little while until we get to Imola. Yeah, so we've got Germany next in probably October the 9th, which is 2 weeks' time.
Imola's going to be another interesting track. It goes up and down, and there is sand and grass outside the track. So
and a damn tricky chicane as well.
Oh fuck yeah!
We like that. So what are the two corners there? Because that's also got another Alti Arianti.
No. Okay, so there is the Variante Alta and Variante Bassa, but I think the one you're talking about is the Acque Minerali.
That's the one. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Which means mineral water, literally mineral water.
Okay, well, this is another one of Bernie's ideas. Of course, they're going to sprinkle mineral water on the track, presumably.
And it's called Acque Minerali because there was a source in that spot. And then of course there is the Rivazza, which is fucking amazing. It's the double right corner at the end.
Double right.
Double left. Sorry, double left.
Okay, yes, yeah. So that used to be. That's where Senna died, is it? On that.
No. Senna died at the Tamburello, which is
Tamburello. Yes.
Straight after the which, I mean, it wasn't even a corner. It was a very slow left corner. And it was basically a straight. And I think now there is a chicane in that place.
Yeah, they changed it straight after. Yeah. Which, I mean, they needed to do, of course, because clearly, I don't know. I remember the day and I'm still shocked. I can remember being shocked. And I remember looking at the TV and my friend said, I think it's serious. And I said, yeah, it looks pretty serious. And he goes, I think he's died. And I went, no, we don't know yet. These cars are really safe now. We don't know. We're going to have to wait. We're going to have to wait. And then they showed a close up and I went, yeah, okay, fuck.
Yeah,
this is the worst day, the worst weekend of Formula One that I've ever been through. And it's been such a long time since we had that. And it was like it brought it back, all those old pictures that I used to see when I first started watching Formula One of these drivers dying, and many of them Piers Morgan, Piers Courage, Jochen Rindt. I remember seeing the clips of Jochen accident. There was the 1955 Mercedes one where like 30 people died in the crowd, there was Jackie Stewart. I remember Jackie Stewart crying on one of these videos, you know what I mean?
I remember when I saw the Senna crash, I got back with my memory because like you, of course, I've seen tapes of accidents, stuff like that, but and I probably saw Lauda's accident live, but
Oh,
to be honest, I could not remember that. But one I remembered was Villeneuve. And when I saw Senna, even if I mean, of course, it was completely different because you could see the body of Gilles, being
yeah.
outside the car and all the stuff, so you could immediately. But I remember, my blood, turning basically the same temperature as when I saw, Gilles, Gilles'
Yeah,
crash. It was a really, really, really bad feeling. I was just, what the fuck, man? Because it was so unnatural. It just, went straight on
yeah,
and yeah, it was really bad.
yeah.
So yeah, it was really bad memory. But anyway,
This was Formula One, and
yeah,
it was just shocking to see it after so many years of everybody getting away with it, all these big accidents and nobody dying. To suddenly see what was the best Formula One driver of his generation
yeah,
go that way was just sad, and it turned out afterwards to be mechanical. So
yeah.
that really destroyed that team basically, and it never recovered.
Yep.
Williams' team never recovered after that. But again, we're into safer times now. You could see Carlos Sainz having a big crash in the Formula 2 cars. There was a big crash. One of them went
Yeah.
on fire. And what with the safety barriers and the new cockpits and the crash crumple zones and all of this,
Mhm.
the drivers are having accidents at 160 and just walking away.
Yeah, I mean,
And
even Sebastian Crash was not a joke. I mean, the guy
hmm,
was when they showed him with the camera inside, it was quite
yeah,
shocked. It was just okay, fuck it, yeah. It took him a couple of seconds to say, yeah, okay, I'm here.
hmm,
Which way I'm
yeah,
facing.
absolutely. I remember Mansell having a similar kind of crash at Australia, I think it was.
Hmm.
And he hit the side of this concrete thing so hard, landed, bam, flew up in the air, landed on the road again.
Yeah,
I think he broke his back or something like that.
yeah,
And yeah, that again, shocking. And of course, nowadays, it's been that long again.
yeah,
I mean, obviously, the mistakes happen, like in Japan
yeah.
with Bianchi.
Yeah, Jules
Uh,
Bianchi, yeah, of course.
that was
Yeah, but
shocking.
on the other end, we had basically the same period. We had people like Alonso, which literally you know destroyed his car, going upside down and flying to the barriers and basically getting out of the car and saying, "Yeah, okay, fuck it, yeah,"
Yeah.
brushing it
Well,
off.
and of course, Jack Villeneuve, right?
Hmm.
Trying to go through a Rouge flat out.
Yeah,
Crashed his car twice in the weekend trying to do
because
that. Just
because
got
it's
straight back in and did it again.
yeah. I mean, how
Yeah.
many cars have you got?
Yeah.
Five. Okay, I could try 4 times. Yeah,
Exactly. Oh my goodness. Some of these drivers, they got no idea, have they?
amazing.
Anyway,
Fucking
that's what we
amazing.
watch the sport for, because they
Yes.
are, brave men to a T, and they still need to be. And in some ways, it shows us that they are the top drivers for these reasons, just like the MotoGP drivers, right? And
Yeah.
I was watching a British Superbikes,
Oh
and
boy. Yeah.
yeah, from
Very good.
2013. Now,
Very good.
shaky burn.
Shaky Bird. Yeah.
Yeah. Now
I
he
met the guy.
crashed. Oh, really?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It was still racing when I used to work in Bologna. So yeah, I met the guy.
Ah,
Yes.
cool.
It's fucking mental.
Well, he crashed, broke
Yeah.
his whatever it was. I can't remember what it was, a rib or something like that. Something, and his leg. He hurt his leg real bad, and then got on the bike like 3 days later, 4 days later, to
Yeah.
go and race. Came second to keep the championship alive. There was another guy in there as well, which was it Walker?
Oh yeah, Chris Walker, I think the name
Yeah, I
was.
think you might be
Yeah.
right, Chris
Yeah.
Walker.
Hmm.
Anyway, he suffered from cancer, I believe, and was a
Yeah.
cancer recovery. prostate cancer, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
And just came back the next season, got on his bike. Fuck it.
I
Let's
have
go.
I have super respect for the guys which are racing the British Superbike, especially because the championship is really weird in the UK because you had to make things different as you do, but no, but you make it different in a very interesting way, meaning that basically you do not allow or there is very limited traction control which is allowed
Yes.
electronically,
Yeah.
which is something which is different from the World
World
Superbike
Superbike.
or stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that makes for races which are really interesting. And that's why, for example, up to I think last year you could see some bikes over there which they're not competitive in the World Superbike, like the Suzuki's, for
Indeed.
example, but they were still there because a lot of the engine management was still on the right
Yeah. And
wrist of the driver.
indeed. Indeed, I believe they also limit the engine tuning as well to keep the cost
Yeah,
down.
and you also driving tracks which they beg and believe. I mean, Caldwell Park is something that you have to go there to believe where the fuck they're driving, because that is basically as wide as the road that they have bringing to my house. I mean, like, that is as wide as it gets.
Yeah, and it has a jump as well, of course.
Oh yeah, of course it does. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is that straight into a corner. So if you don't
Fucking
land it right,
insane.
you're in
Yeah.
the wall. But
Much respect to that. Very much respect to it. We used to have we had engineers going, especially assigned to the British Superbike series. Because I mean, it's worth a lot of money. So, and we had specific engineers assigned to that championship, and they were following 2 or 3 teams. But they were not factory backed up, but they had the factory behind to have something special every time. And this guy every fucking time he was coming back and said, I mean, you guys have no fucking idea. You literally have no fucking idea. Those guys, they fix bikes with duct tape and shit, and they ride like there is no fucking tomorrow. And most of the time there is no tomorrow.
Yeah, for them. Yeah.
So yeah.
And some great circuits, as you say. I mean, there's
Yeah.
equally as many good bike circuits in Italy.
Yeah.
So, but I am very proud of the fact that some of the circuits in this country are so interesting for
Yeah.
bikes, not so much
Yeah.
for cars, but for bikes. Wow.
No, don't get me wrong. I mean, none of them will be homologated because fuck it. They just race your series, and that is what makes the thing even more interesting.
Well,
okay.
I mean, a few of them, Brands and Silver.
No, yeah, of course. I mean,
the big ones,
Brands, Edge, Silver. So yeah, I mean, the good ones.
but not Kill, right? Which has got this.
Shouldn't be. I mean,
the right-hander that goes on forever and is 200 miles an hour, and goes into a chicane on a corner. Oh man, I love that track as well.
Fucking
but anyway. Yes, and of course, I mean, just to go back, and this is probably a long time ago, but there used to be a series. I mean, before it was Superbikes, I guess, called Trans Am. I think it was called Trans Am series.
You're talking about cars?
No. This is motorbikes. And it had some American and British motorbike riders on superbikes. Okay.
So there was a series called. Okay, so there was a series, but I don't think it's the one you're referring to. There was a series called Battle of the Twins.
No.
But before that, there was something like that. I
think it was called Trans Am, and anyway, the point I'm making here is that there was a young rider called Kevin Schwantz. Okay, now Kevin Schwantz started quite high up on the grid in this particular race. I think it was Donington, and he fell off 4 times on the first lap.
Yeah,
and then fell off every other lap and still won the race.
Yeah.
Okay, so you should have seen him jumping off the bike, coming off the bike, sliding down the road, picking the bike up. Just as it's sliding down the road, he's stamping back on the road again to get the bike back upright. He's on the grass. He cuts across the grass. It's rainy. He manages to keep it on two wheels, rejoin the circuit, hack round, overtake everybody again, only to fall off again. Oh my God.
I mean, if we're talking about riders, the thing is that a lot of them they were really strong, and they were also really lucky. Because a lot of them died. But if you talk about people which got lucky and made a name, the first thing that pops to my mind is Barry Sheen,
Oh.
which he crashed at the Daytona 200 on the banks, and he destroyed himself. And this is true. They put so many nails in his body that when he was walking through the metal detectors at the airport, were raining every fucking time. He had so much metal in him. Say, well, have you got any keys? Well, no, but I got stuff that I can get rid of.
Yes, now Barry Sheen. Now there's a name to conjure with. Fantastic race driver and race bike racer, and also brave as hell.
And by the way, you mentioned Kevin Schwartz. Kevin Schwartz is another adorable person. If you meet him in person, is the most shy and not bragging at all. Last time I met him, it was I think 10 years ago in Valencia. Wow. After the championship was over, they were testing they give the bikes to the journalists to test, and they all, of course, they put the children's map, for the journalists, and Kevin was there. And you had to know that it was Kevin Schwantz because nobody was around him and stuff like that. He had a black, leather suit. He was just there waiting. I said, "Well, fuck me, it's fucking Kevin Schwantz." So we go there, and once he got on the bike, there was, the electronics guy. He went to him and said, "Listen, we usually give, this map to the journalists, but if you feel like, if you press this button, you will get, a little bit more interesting map. It's not a racing map, but it's a little bit closer to the one that the race. They just told him how to. Okay, if you want, you can switch that. I mean, everybody else, that button is dummy, but let me. If you want, you can switch that. It's gonna give you a little bit more oomph. And seeing her check was fucking fantastic.
Yeah, just incredible race driver.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really talented. Like I've never seen anybody with so much balance and so much guts, and so much willingness to pin it open on a bike.
Yeah.
Which this is back in the day, right? This is before superbikes became superbikes. Okay, this is like a flat handles, no drop handles here. These are flat handles. Right, monster machines with really no good stuff on it, right?
And chances are in those series there were because he has always raced two strokes, which again it's another problem by himself. And chances are that that series he was riding something like a Yamaha 750 two-stroke.
No. So it's 1000cc 4.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
These are real. This is before superbikes. I mean, they are superbikes, but they're just like literally they are the street bikes with a few little trick bits on, but nothing like no fairing. Do you know what I mean? To talk of.
Yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. No, I understand. Yeah. And I mean, Freddie Spencer was racing those same series.
Okay,
Wild Dart, that's a very fucking brilliant comment. We should have that comment for the next, broadcast. Just that one.
Oh, really? Okay. I was going to read it out now because why not? And we can have it for the next one as well. Thank you, Wildheart. Really nice to see you here. And let me just put this up. Wildheart says, What have Formula One and women both got in common? Both are more interesting when they're wet. Well, that's terribly sexist, but Bernie Eccleston would definitely agree with you.
Yeah.
Formula One needs wet races, and I would totally agree. As for the women,
I just want to say I don't feel safe anymore in this broadcast right now.
Well, as for the women, yeah, okay. Well, if they want to be wet, that's okay. It doesn't matter. As long as I come, that's okay. Anyway, moving on and finishing now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And thank you, Fabio, for once again being a fantastic expert on this team. And we will look forward to Germany. Jawohl, Germany. So we're going to see the real fascists next time. They're at 9th to 11th of October. So that's 2 weeks' time. And we'll look forward to seeing everyone on the Monday after. Thank you very much. So ciao, everybody.
Ciao.